Happy New Year to everybody. Great to see everybody. I'm glad to see you made it back safely from Texas. I felt like the non-conference was fantastic. Actually, we had a great semester overall. Academically, a bunch of guys over 3.0, more than half, which I'm excited about. So we did our job in the classroom, which is awesome. And then I felt like we did our job on the court. You know, to be 10-1 in the non-con, and we were up 20 or 16 in that game. But then you can flip it and say, Yale, you were down 16. I think we're going to learn from those experiences for sure. I also felt like Alabama was a real test, one of those real testers of our mental conditioning, of our mental fitness. And we were able to handle that game. And I thought Lamar played one of his better 8 minutes that I've seen in his career here. So all those little testers, all those challenges. And then I thought we didn't leave anything to chance with the games that we were supposed to win. We were supposed to win games big, and we did. We did what we were supposed to do. So we're building very good habits that are going to help us and prepare us for the Big Ten. I still think our best basketball is ahead of us. I still believe we haven't hit on all cylinders. And I feel like we've had very good practice over this break. So I look forward to heading down to Philadelphia and play Iowa.
You mentioned the last two games and kind of winning in the way that people might say you should. What are the traits in games like that you want to see that get you to the point where you win kind of what you might project it to be?
You know, for me, it's about I'll use a term called micro-focus, not losing your focus, not looking up at the scoreboard, but dialing in on us. It's Penn State versus Penn State at that point when you have a considerable lead. Can you still maintain the habits? Can you still play hard? Do you still have that competitive edge and the toughness that you're going to need for 40 minutes in this wild and crazy Big Ten league?
And what do you... The games before break have always, not that you ever really got a break here, but they have traditionally been the kind of games where people take naps for 15 minutes and then wake up and go, we need to figure this out. What do you think it says about the team that they didn't take that nap?
Yeah, I've been saying this. I think the mental approach by our leaders and the team in general as a whole has been very mature, very professional, very businesslike. So they're coming in, they understand they have to get better. They have big time goals that they want to achieve, and they understand those games can really hurt you. If you don't come out ready to compete, ready to play Penn State basketball, those games could really get you. And I felt like Central Connecticut State, we did, for the most part, a really good job. And Cornell, you know, we did not sleep on Cornell at all. We felt like they played really well against Hartford. We felt like they were in 6 very close games. And if they can easily flip the script, if they just learn how to win 1 or 2 possessions at the end, we did not take them lightly. We came with a very Big Ten-like approach.
In the greater context of the season, where does that Mississippi game stand for you guys in terms of how you use it moving forward, or you know, it just seems like it's stayed with you guys to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it stayed with us in a positive way that kept our edge, that we know we have to keep our foot on the pedal and we can't back off at all. And that's what we did. You're up 12 or 14 with 6 minutes to go. You need to win that game. Now, I'd flip it to you, and we were down 14 or 16 versus Yale and ended up winning that game. So there's something to learn from both games. The positive for Ole Miss is you had Syracuse right away, well, a day after that, right? You had Thanksgiving and then Syracuse. If you come out and not compete, not play Penn State basketball, then we let that last 6 minutes really affect us, which may have happened in the past. But this group is a little bit different. They came out with a chip on their shoulders and they handled their business. So I think we learned from that last 6 minutes. Now we're going to be in a heck of a lot of one possession games coming up here. So hopefully that experience really helps us.
And then for this Palestra game, this is kind of a two-parter, but did you ever think that somebody would play you there again after the Michigan State game that you guys had? And then if you could just oral history it for us, how did this come to be?
You know what? I did. And I thought Franny would be the guy. Who gave me the idea? Dave Jones gave me the idea, so I want to pass that on to him. But I thought Franny being a Penn guy for those 2 years, getting his kids back to the Palestra, sons are on the team. I thought he might be a great option for that game. That's why we took a year or two off from it. So I'm real appreciative of Franny for saying yes and allowing us to have this game at the Palestra, which is fantastic. This conversation started when we were together recruiting at NBA Top 100, and then our wives and Franny and I were together at Nike Coaches Retreat. We spent a lot of time together, and we talked about it more. I was basically gauging his interest in pros and cons and things of that nature. And I think Franny, give him credit. He was like, yeah, this is something I'd like to do. I'd like to bring my team there and have them play in the Palestra, which is really cool. He's already been there, right? He's Siena, UNC, one of those teams he's taken to the Palestra before. So I think, would you know that offhand? Did you know Rose was Franny's SID at Notre Dame, right? When he was women's basketball new. So he has a lot of connections to us, to my family personally, obviously Penn, and then some of. There you go. So there's some connections. So we appreciate Franny in Iowa.
And was that, just for clarification, that Nike trip, was that this past?
That was in June. Okay. That was in June. But I had spoken to the Big Ten office and Lynn and Sandy saying, hey, this is Mike and Lamar, and got some Philly guys on the team and surrounding area on the team. This would be a great year to try to accomplish this, to send them off in a great way. And so everybody got on the same page and we got it done.
Can you speak to the importance of playing that game there at this time when the students aren't here?
Yeah, Mark, I mean, you know this. You know what? Cornell, we had a good crowd. You guys, were you guys here for that? We had a really good crowd. I was really pleased with the number of people that showed up for that game, being between Christmas and the holiday and the bowl. So I was encouraged. So, I mean, maybe being top 25 had helped that cause. So you don't know. But obviously, no students here. Years passed. This is a game that in seats, you may get 5,000 maybe, if you're lucky, in seats. So to be able to go down there and have a sellout for the second time, I mean, speaks volumes to where Penn State basketball is too. I mean, we're an option now, guys. I mean, people want to come to Penn State. We're actually turning people down. Great position to be in.
Can you speak also to the importance in recruiting with this game? You kind of touched on it.
Yeah, well, it's a home game for us, so we're allowed to have our recruits at the game. So we should have upwards a lot. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to put a number on it because if I'm wrong, if I'm too low and not, there's going to be a lot of recruits there and families. So it should be great for Penn State basketball.
And then Lamar and Mike decide to come back. What was their reaction when they learned that you guys were going to be playing at the Palestra again? Because I'm sure there's something special.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? Lamar was working me before he came back a little bit. Hey, if I come back, man, we got to work on, he might not have said that up here, but he definitely planted the seed that he would like to go back there. And I think we're doing right by those two guys who remain committed and loyal and dedicated to not just the coaches, but to this university. I think that speaks volumes of their character and integrity and who they are.
And for those of us who weren't able to see it or be here, can you update us to whatever extent you can on Jamari and his, availability, non-availability, whatever?
Jamari's playing. Yeah, he's good to go. He's practiced the last 2 days.
Is there something special about the atmosphere of the Palestra, considering its basketball history there for decades?
Yeah, I just said this in an earlier interview. It's really a cathedral to me because I grew up basically going there since I was single digits. So it's a pretty special place, and it's hot. It's a gym. It really is. It's an old school gym. The lighting's not the best. It smells like a gym, if you know what that means. So it's pretty special to be able to coach there. I'll be drenched. I'll be soaked. Everybody will be soaked, but that's what you want. That's old school. That's what it's all about.
There's a certain charm to the aroma of sweat socks and popcorn salt.
There's no doubt it's a charming place to play in.
Do you allow yourself at all in a moment like this to enjoy sort of the broader arc that this game means, which is like when you got here, you said we're going to recruit Philly, we're going to become competitive, we're going to become an option. You played in the Palestra before, you've recruited Philly kids before, but now you're playing a top 25 game with Philly kids in the Palestra as a ranked team. I mean, you've got things you want to do still, but is there a certain amount of, I did at least one of these things that I said that I wanted to?
There's so much more work to be done. Man, this is the second question you've asked me about joy. and just taking a step back for a second. I'll do that when I before the game. I'll just breathe it in real quick, take a peek around on what a great feeling it's going to be able to coach there, bring your team there that you've envisioned for years. We had hoped to get it to this type of level and to be able to play in Philadelphia in front of your fans, in front of a place where you want to recruit heavily is very special. But up until this point, Ben, transparent, I haven't thought about it. I thought about preparation and getting my team ready, getting them better, and then gearing up for Iowa.
Will there be a moment on Saturday, maybe if it's 5 seconds, you look over to the other side, you see Coach McCaffrey, you say, wow, 2 Philly guys coaching the Palestra top 25 matchup. This is pretty awesome.
I think we already talked about that, so I'm not going to look over at them. But, we'll shake hands. We'll see how cool it is, I'm sure. But we're competitors. When the ball goes up, we want to, compete as hard as we can. And then when the game's over, Franny and I are pretty friendly. It's not like we don't text throughout the year. We do. So it'll be great for both families.
I guess just before the game.
Yeah, just reflection. Maybe a quick reflection, sure.
I apologize if I didn't see this correctly, but did you guys have a practice down there over the break?
We did. We had 2.
And
Tremendous.
how'd you make that happen?
I might do it every year. Usually, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the first practice after Christmas is a disaster. Guys are out of shape. They don't want to be there. They still need another day. It's crickets around here. It's quiet. And to be able to do what we did, again, I thank Sandy and Lynn for allowing us to go down there for 2 days. And by the way, the flights into there is a little bit easier than here for some of our guys. So it really worked out beautifully. And to be able to practice in there, I thought there was a whole new energy and a whole new just approach to competing, to getting better and wanting to be there, which was exciting.
And then previously, when you had that stretch of games kind of condensed, you talked about not having practice time.
Those 6 games, yeah.
I
would say 8. I'm going to include Bucknell and Yale in there, but go ahead.
So, but you've had practice time in the time since. Are there things that you kind of had nailed down as wanting to see improvements in during that practice? Like, can you get better when you don't have games on a consistent basis?
Yeah, and again, it's about their maturity and their commitment level to each practice, each rep, each drill, and I felt like we've done that, and we've been really smart and intelligent about our approach. The coaches and Saz and Greg, we sit down, we say, where are we today? What do we need today? Do we push? Do we back off? To make sure that we have fresh legs. This is a long season, real long season. So I felt like these practices were intelligent. We went hard one day. We had a cleanup day, which is basically 5-0 and a lot of shooting, a lot of just basics, fundamentals of the game, footwork, passing, all dribbling, all the little things like that to clean things up. And then you go back competing again. So I felt like we've done a very good job of taking the temperature of the team, but also getting better as we approach each day and each practice.
How many people will you have at this game? Family,
6,500. I just saw my credit card bill, so I've had to buy some tickets. Not some, a lot actually, which is cool. So it's probably there's going to be friends and family from every decade of my life that are going to be at this game, which is pretty awesome if you think about it, the support that I've gotten over my lifetime and now my career.
And do you remember the first time you set foot in that gym, and are there any particular memories you have pre-Penn State, when you were a kid or growing up?
I'm sorry to be redundant, but it's definitely when, I'm the youngest of 12. we don't have enough tickets. And your brother at the time only gets a few tickets, right? My one brother played Tim, who played football for Penn, and my other brother Paul played basketball. He did both, actually, and then ended up playing basketball. So my early years with my brother Tim, he can only get so many tickets. But my dad would be in the back showing the guy, I got plenty of tickets. And we'd all just run and scatter. He'd tell us the section, hey, be in this section at this time. We'll reconvene. But if this guy finds you, just stay where you are. Go to the bathroom. I'm serious. I'm not making this up. I couldn't make this up. And then other times, when you're a teenager and you're downtown and you want to go to a game, you're kind of hanging out by the side door. Somebody props it open and you're in. You got one ticket and, you're sneaking in and you run like hell. so you don't get caught.
So are you just hoping the statute of limitations has expired on all these things?
You know what? I've already been in there, but I'm opening up some Pandora's box here a little bit and telling everybody what I used to do as a kid. But who didn't do that at the Palestra? They're great stories.
Is there, with the novelty of all of this, do you have to maybe strike a balance in terms of the importance of this game in the Big Ten conversation and getting back into Big Ten play after the break and, just kind of getting these guys to contextualize what this game is in the broader picture?
Yeah, and you're right, and that's what I've done. We've talked about the noise and the distractions of going down there and playing there. This is our home game. We have to take care of business. We have to take care of our home court, Palestra, BJC. We have to. It's imperative. You're looking at these games on the road. Look, we played Ohio State. We got drilled. Some other teams throughout the Big Ten, teams that I would never say would get beat by 20 or 30, they got drilled. So you must take care of your home base. And Saturday, that's our home base. We got to take care of our home games because we still have to go to Iowa later on in the season. So it's really important we take care of home. And to get off to a good start, too. We haven't had great starts in my tenure here, so need to get off to a great start.
And then just a scout, I guess, on this Iowa team and how they play. And obviously they've had some injuries this year, but they just keep coming.
The 30,000-foot lens of what Franny's done is pretty amazing. I mean, he had Cook leave. He had guys transfer late, right? And now he has Bohannon out. And for him to be a top 25 team, I mean, Garza, man, he's playing out of his mind. He's terrific. The development of Garza alone is unbelievable. But Weiskamp's terrific. Frederick's, he's shooting over 50%. His son does a great job. He just steadies the ship. So he has plugged in different guys, and they're tough. They play well together. They enjoy playing well. To me, he's done an amazing job with all the adversity that he's been through up until this point.
With someone like Garza, how frustrating he can be to guard, how important is it to keep Mike mentally engaged where, Garza keeps coming at you, he's so crafty and whatnot, and keeping Mike mentally engaged in a game like this?
Yeah, really, all of them. It's Mike, it's John, it's Lamar, it's Trent. We got to try to do the best we can against Garza. He's a really good player. He's going to get his, but we can't put our head down. And we have to try to be in the proper position defensively. If we get out of position, he's going to get end ones, or he's going to at least get fouls, draw fouls on us. And that means somebody's going to be sitting on the bench. But I would also flip and say, Mike Watkins is probably having the best year of his career. Garza's got to worry about Mike Watkins. So this is going to be a great matchup to watch these two bigs go at each other.